Hi, Jamie. Thank
Hey,
you for being here.
thanks for having me.
It's excellent to see you. Congratulations on the brand new book, which comes out today.
Today,
Is that correct?
today.
Ding dong. So tell me something. What made you want to finally share your story in book form?
I would talk to people about the story, and I realized over time that I think it's a type of entrepreneur I am, creates a lot of wake, which made for a very sort of, I'll say, fun and entertaining story. There's a lot of pain with that, like most comedians, I guess. Like pain is what drives them.
That's
And
where all
so
humor comes
all
from.
humor
Pain.
comes from pain. So I
Yes.
think all great entrepreneurial stories come from pain. And I just felt like at some point I did feel like I had to write the story. The impact of Ring is kind of unbelievable to me, for especially I'd say.
Yeah.
And so it was very cool to be able to write it, and also that unpacked it for me. Even like kind of myself was like going through the story.
Did
and
you
seeing
relive
again.
it? Did
I
it feel
did.
like-
I really did, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of things I forgot that we had done. I wrote it with this guy Andrew Postman, who is a ghostwriter, and so he would interview people and come back to me and say like, "What about he'd say like this thing happened," and I'm like, I don't remember that, and then we'd like go through. I'm like, oh, I do remember that, and there's a lot of the stuff where these like little failures of things we tried. That I think I just like I'd like push back
Did
in
you
my
block
brain.
them out?
100%. I think that's like a skill of an entrepreneur, is just block stuff out. Like just like it never happened.
Yeah, that's actually a survival skill.
It's a total survival
I would
skill.
imagine.
Worked well for me.
Did you learn anything new then when writing that? Did somebody, who was interviewed come back and say, remember when this happened? And you were like,
I definitely learned. I'd say I learned. There were situations that I looked back on without like inspection, and I thought that I was like, for example, right in them, and realized that maybe I wasn't 100% wrong, but how I reacted in those made them much worse. So it's like, I guess the same like passion and like the energy that creates kind of the largest home security company in the world is also that same energy can also be very like toxic in some ways.
yeah.
And so it got me into some areas where like now looking back, and the book kind of helped because you're actually writing it out, you realize like, yeah, I probably was wrong there. And
Well-
so it was an interesting, I actually changed how I felt about some things by writing the book.
Did you feel good when it was done? Were you like, look at this wonderful journey? Or
How
do you feel
I do
having
feel,
it
I feel
now?
super proud of like, also like I'm a product person. And so
Yeah.
I actually think the book is a product.
it's
And
nice to have
so-
something tactile.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think it's like a good product. I think the book, what I really like about it is that it's very honest. I think a lot of business books that are written by entrepreneurs are not dishonest, but they're trying to put a spin on the story. They're also trying to be like more advice driven. So they're like the 10 steps to,
Yeah.
build your next doorbell or whatever. And this one is just more like the raw story of what happened. And I think you can learn a lot from that, but it's also pretty raw. So I like it. I like how it came out. I am proud of it.
Let's go back to the beginning of the story when you were just a child, a tinkerer. How did your story start? Take us
My
back to
story
the very
did start
beginning.
as like I grew up in New Jersey.
North or south?
North,
Okay.
so near Morristown. We had a basement, which was like an amazing thing.
Yeah.
My dad was not super handy, so we kind of had like this room that had all these like tools in it and stuff, but he didn't know really. My dad didn't know how to use them, and so I took that over as a young kid, and I would go down there and take things apart. Like winter was such a great. I mean, I'm back now. I live in Los Angeles, and so I'm back today here, and it's cold, and I realize
And
why
rainy.
I live in Los Angeles
Yeah.
now. But as a kid, it was great because I had all this extra time. It was cold out, and so I'd just be down there and I just like taking dehumidifiers apart and fans apart and toaster ovens apart and just all this stuff, and just kind of like building stuff. I had RC remote control cars, and the only way to keep them sort of working was to fix them. And so you'd be like fixing things and hacking things, and so I learned a lot of the engineering. Like, a lot of the engineering that actually went into Ring came from those days of just
A
like
basement
learning.
in New Jersey.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
being self-taught as an engineer, I think, was so valuable.
How come?
Just because the constraints when you're taught something, you sort of learn I guess you learn like you don't learn the underlying, like when you actually when you build something yourself, when you like put something together yourself, like you learn like the underlying, like how it truly works, like how it's like put together, and you can discover it in your own way. When you're taught something, you sometimes maybe like almost like a parrot, like you can repeat what you learn, but you don't actually understand it. And so I like truly understand how a lot of like physical things work. from that. And I'd see it with Ring when we would be with engineers. I'd say like, this isn't going to work. And they're kind of like, yes, it will, because like the machine says it's going to work. And I'm like, it's not going to work because it's not going to work. And so there's like a common sense thing to it.
And you were right.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I mean, definitely not all the time, but there's a lot where I was right that, you know, like a professional who studied that area and like did that thing knew it. But, you know, when you really look at it, they're using like, you know, there's a thing called, you know, CAD is this computer aided design.
Yeah.
So we call it CADitis, which is you get into CAD and you start to like, you forget that like humans actually have to like put their hand on something and like click it onto a bracket. So like the tolerances get so low because you're in a computer and so everything looks like it works. But like when you actually try to like put like gloves on and it's 30 degrees out and you're in Minnesota and you're trying to like attach the doorbell in the winter, it's not going to work.
Right.
And so like you get so I think like a little bit of it is like this like practical way of thinking and common sense can really help, especially in engineering and business in general. But
and trial and error. And
trial and error is how you get there.
Let's talk about that. So Shark Tank, I watched your original episode of Shark Tank and was like nervous for you. Yeah. Even though I knew how it was.
Did you hope I would get money this time?
I was like
maybe this time you'll get money if I rewatch it.
Maybe it will turn out differently. But it seemed like overnight success, but it was not.
No.
You had some rejection. So can you talk a little bit about the journey from rejection to where you are today?
And so, you know, Shark Tank was just another, it was like the best of times and the worst of times. Because I thought when I went on Shark Tank, I was certain that I was going to get.
Did you really?
Oh, I really did. Yeah. No, I like Mark Cuban is going to invest. I'm like, this is like done. Like Mark Cuban going to invest, all good to go. Like he understands tech. We basically get to like the filming and they tell us that the largest deal ever in the history of Shark Tank just happened and that it is going to, and that basically like Mark just invested in it.
Oh.
And as we're setting up, and it's like, that's not particularly good.
Right.
And so we're like, but okay, like we'll still get it. And then I start pitching my thing on Shark Tank and you do like your pitch. And it's actually like live to tape, so they don't stop.
Oh, I was wondering about that. It's all live.
So they don't stop. So you're like, you're definitely it's not like, I thought they would say, you know, Jamie, can you turn this way more? And then do that, you know, okay, I'll great. Like I'll
say
like,
it with more feeling this time.
Say to Mark now, like you really want his money, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just like a live thing, and you just keep going. If you flub, you flub. And so, you know, I do my little thing, and Mark says like something, and it was fine. And then he's just like, you know, Jamie, like this, I need it to be a bigger company, whatever. I'm out. It's like, I mean, and the whole time the producers are telling you like, make sure they don't say they're out. Like you need to get like enough tape because you're not guaranteed to be on Shark Tank if you're like when you tape.
So that's on you. You have to sort of stretch it out.
I mean, like it's like you gotta like, you know, it's like try to keep them talking because if you just sort of like if you clam up, they're just gonna say like I'm done,
right?
And then it's over, and then they don't even have enough like to edit a segment together. So I'm like doing my thing. I'm like done, and it's like Mark's like, yeah, Jamie, no, whatever, I'm out. And I'm like, uh-oh. Like and this and it was bad. And then it was like kind of like I think then right after that Hershevek went out. And then Lori went out, and then I kind of got them talking again.
Yes.
And then Damon went out, and then it was only Mr. Wonderful left. But but luckily between them going out and Mr. Wonderful, I did have them talking, which got like a lot of sort of the footage in it.
And then you had the courage to walk away from Mr.
I didn't really have the courage. I mean, Kevin gave me a deal that like you sort of almost couldn't accept.
Yeah.
You know, I think, I mean, to be fair to him, he was like, if Jamie accepts, I'm sure he would have given me the deal because it was like a ridiculously good deal for him. It was a terrible deal.
It was a good deal for him, wasn't it?
It was a really good deal for him. And it was like would have been like death for Ring or Doorbot at the time.
Yeah.
And so I sort of had to not, it was like one of those, like, you were going to die either way. You might as well die respectfly, which was like to
with
not
dignity.
take the deal. Yeah. I wanted dignity. So yeah, I chose dignity over, but that was good. I mean, it was a good part of the TV and the interaction.
It was nerve-wracking. And then what happened? So you walked away. You said like respectfully, no, thank you. Yeah, but then where did you go from there?
To
take us to the
cry in my car and drive home and not understand what was going to happen because I filmed it in September.
Yeah.
The season started in I think like early to mid-October and ran through May.
Okay.
We were out of cash when I was filming. So we were like really like going out of cash. And I don't know if we would have raised more money had we not aired on the show, because that helped. I was trying to raise money. I mean, I was like literally
It got you visibility.
Not so like I taped it.
Yeah.
But they hadn't aired it yet, and I didn't know when it was going to air. And so if it had aired,
they didn't tell you.
They don't tell you, no.
Oh, okay.
And so if it had aired in April, I'm not sure if we would have made it to April.
Right.
And so it ends up, they called me in whatever it was like it was on my birthday or something in October. It was like some crazy thing. And they're like,
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they said, you're going to air on whatever date. And okay. And it's funny too, because they call you and they're like, it's like just some person who has like, that's all the information they have. It's like, call Jamie, tell him he's airing on this date, and that's it. And I'm like asking all these questions, like, what about? And they're like, I have no idea. And they just basically hang up on you.
Right. And then
so,
stay tuned.
You're like, okay, great. So luckily we aired, if you think about it from a consumer electronics product that's coming out with a new product, you air right before the holidays.
Yeah.
And that was the Doorbots were just coming in from the factory at the time.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, like it was like a Cinderella story of like, you couldn't write it better, of the products coming in that hasn't sold yet. The Super Bowl commercial is about to go on that we didn't pay for. And so that really worked. And then we started selling it. And then once we started selling it, getting money from that, then that created a flywheel that, we were able to get other investors in. And so that kind of kicked us off. I'm not sure without the Shark Tank extra sort of adrenaline hit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure that boost. I don't know if we would have made it.
In that moment, though, when you walked away with your dignity, before you knew it was going to air, and you're like, I'm crying in my car. What is the lesson for an entrepreneur? I mean, every entrepreneur, I'm sure, has been in that space where it's like, wow, I'm
It's funny because people say, like, how do you keep going?
Yeah, how do you keep going?
Well, because we had ordered 30,000 Doorbots.
You had no choice.
And I had no choice. I mean, if someone had called me then and said, like, I'll give you most of your money back you've put in this, but like basically, I'll give you enough money so you don't go broke, and you can walk away from this thing.
Yeah,
I would have happily signed the deal and moved on, because I'm not that like I had conviction, and I'm an entrepreneur and I take risk, but at some point humans I think are humans, and I couldn't. At that moment I would have given up.
You would have.
Oh yeah, in that car I can remember driving that car home. And I was like, because we live in Los Angeles, so of course, like it's like even worse because you don't even have like a night to stay in a crappy hotel and like just sort of drown your sorrows. Like you literally have to drive right home, and so like I literally had to drive home right from that thing, and it was like it was awful. Like it was just like I had no idea what we were gonna do.
But here you are now.
But it all worked out.
I mean, it all worked out great.
Everybody should do it. It's totally fine.
Totally fine.
It always works out.
But what was the moment then where you were like, I'm onto something, and it became Ring? Like, can you pinpoint the turning point?
So there was pieces of that, I'd say. Like when the Shark Tank episode aired, you could see how people reacted to it, that there was something here. Like there was definitely something here. Then when we sort of came up with this mission, like the mission to make neighborhoods safer, which was like right after that, like we kind of like we thought that we had some interesting stuff with security, but when we sort of really were like, we're going to make neighborhoods safer, that was another sort of slight aha moment. But really, I would say, and I don't mean it because I actually, not because I cared about the money so much, but I don't think I really would say, like the moment that I thought we made it was the day that the check cleared from Amazon.
Yeah.
And it's not because of like the amount, it was a very good check, but it's really because it was like that was the actual time when like I could like exhale and be like, we did it. Like it's like, because until then it kept just like you'd go up and then down and up and then down. It was like, two steps forward, one step back. And it always felt like it could go away. And that was like the first time when I like actually like I could like feel the stress just kind of like come off me. And,
when the check cleared.
The wire,
the wire.
They don't
write
you a check anymore, but they like the check.
Just a wad of cash.
Yeah.
How do you divide, or how did you divide your time with the Ring as an entrepreneur once you sort of began to make it? What was your day-to-day?
I mean, it was a little bit of like firefighting in terms of because we were growing so fast.
Yeah.
There wasn't a single area that was like locked. So it wasn't, you didn't hire the person for customer service and it was done. You know, when you're growing that fast, the company is like a different company every few months. So you're always having problems. So like you'll hire someone to handle HR, you know, and you'll think it's good. And then you're going to like go over here to fix this. And then all of a sudden it's like the person running HR is like, things are falling out of control or the system's breaking or because things are just growing too fast. When we started revenue, we did 3 million, 30 million, 170, 480. And like, that's just too fast.
That's very
like
fast.
It's, and the problem with going that fast is like, people are, oh, that's so like, wow, what a great company.
Right.
But there's no systems in place to handle that. Like everything you're buying, everything you're doing is breaking because you're buying stuff for a $3 million company and then you're a $30 million company and then you're at 170. So it's like, it's just too fast that everything's happening. And so it's very hard to hold on to that business.
But at the same time, was there anything you wouldn't want to put the brakes on, right? I mean, is there the compulsion, just like it's going really fast
And I think
and it's
like
getting bigger and bigger?
looking at it, I think if we put it is interesting. Like it's one of those things, I'm not sure if we would have had the right to put the brakes on. Like I think if we had put the brakes on, someone might have just taken that sort of, you know, like taken our lane.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have seen it again. Like it's interesting. Like I'm not sure if we could have pulled the brakes off, put the brakes on and still ended up in any good position. So all of a sudden became a bit of like, you had one way out of this thing, which was just like to sort of get bigger. Yeah. It was like,
all right, I'm going to read a quote
too big to fail.
Too big. I was going to say that. And then I wasn't going to say that. All right. You have said that most startups have these stories of being dead in the water with the only way to survive being a miracle. So 3,000 Doorbots, there was a glitch. Sorry to go back to the Doorbot era, but I think it's impossible.
This is a good one.
It's important to talk about failure too. Yeah. You discovered a glitch that could have sunk the company. How did the mistake actually help the company survive?
I mean, so it helped. We found this glitch.
What was the glitch?
The glitch was that we shipped the first units. So the first units come in from the factory. We check them all as like a good company would do, and they're all fine. So we ship them out. And now it's getting closer to Christmas, and people are yelling at us every day that if we don't get this, like if they don't get my Doorbot by Christmas, just refund me.
Right.
And we didn't have the money to refund them, so that was bad. So we're like, then the next round of them come from the factory, and we're like, just ship them out. Like, just because it was actually hard to test them. But you had to
I was going to say, do you do it individually?
Well, yeah, you take it out of the box and like hook it up. And like, it took a while to do each one.
Yeah.
And you're like taking it out of the box nicely. And so it was like, we literally didn't test. This is great. I mean, looking back, this was a mistake, but we didn't test a single one.
Okay.
In between the two shipments, one of our engineers that we had hired had decided to like fix the video and make it a little more clarity. What he didn't realize is that when he was like adjusting the settings is he actually was not testing it correctly. And therefore he just sent like a random set of numbers to the factory to put onto this chip. The chip turns out that you burn that memory onto the chip, so there's no way to change it. And so now we sent all these Doorbots out. People are like, my Doorbot's not working well. And the Doorbots had like a little bit of a challenge. So I'm like, oh, just try this and try that. And they're like, no, look. And so
the customers were saying this too.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden I'm getting these pictures. I'm like, oh no, that's really not working well. Like they're not just talking about like not working well. This is like really. So then of course we take like one out of the box and we hook it up. That one's broken. We take the next one out of the box, broken. Like, at some point we realize like they're all broken. So so we didn't. This is Christmas. This is on Christmas Eve. And so we spend the day going through everything you can do. Like, could you change what's the software on the chip? No, that chip you can't change. Could you change this? Could we go through a different, literally looked at like every, like what's the, and also this time we only have like 4 engineers. So it's not like we like understood, we didn't have the people that understood. I was
going to say, what is the engineer responsible doing right now, doing at that moment?
That's a long story too.
Hiding in their car crying.
Well, it was interesting. He was like, I don't see how this happened. It was like, I'm like, it's like, you gotta like stop. Like, it's just like, let's try to fix this. It's like, I don't understand why. Oh, okay. Like that's not, we're going to move on.
We're going to
move on from there. So, we go through everything and we like literally cannot, we tried like, it's like this immovable wall and we tried and like, it's like, I like basically drive home from work that day and I'm like, it's immovable. Like we're done. Like, it's like, and you can't, we would have had to then replace all of those with new ones, but those old ones were dead. So it was like, was like at least $1 million of like to turn it all around, and we had like zero money. So there's like, and what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go raise $1 million because I made a mistake. That's not like it was hard enough to raise money. Like with what we were doing, like let alone being like, oh, like actually I just made a mistake. Can I get more money?
Give me more.
And so it was it was bad.
Okay.
And so we got to dinner that night, and I'm with my family, and I'm actually pretty calm. I'm like telling my wife, I'm like, yeah, it's over. And she's like, yeah, she does this whole, like, she said, you know, well, why don't we mortgage the house? We could use some of that money to, I'm like, actually, it's not like, I'm like, sadly, it's actually not enough to, like, that won't even help. So like, we'll lose our house plus this, which we're probably gonna lose the house anyway, but like, whatever. Like, so.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas Eve. Great Christmas Eve. But I'm actually pretty calm. And so all of a sudden I'm like, you know, we had this software. So the video goes to the cloud, and there's like a software in the cloud that processes it and then sends it to the mobile phone. And so we have this video in the cloud, and we changed the software for it to a cheaper software like halfway through. So I called my engineer, Mark. He's in New York. And I said, Mark, do you think the more expensive software we're using would actually like do something with this versus the cheaper one? And Mark's like, I don't know. It's going to take like 8 hours to get that to switch it. And so this is like, he's in New York. We're driving home from dinner. It's probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night for him. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, okay. So he stays up all night, calls me at like 6 a.m. Christmas Eve, screaming. And Mark was like not a screamer and not like a big swearer, and, you know, just was like, swear, it's working, screaming. And so great Christmas.
It's a wonderful.
So, and what it was cool is like all these people that had these broken devices, they all just then magically worked. So it just fixed everything. 'Cause in the server, it wasn't even on the like actual device. So like it just like everything worked.
I hope you got a raise.
Mark did fine.
I'm very glad.
Mark did okay.
So wait though, how did you communicate with the customer? Did you just say like, just kidding, it's actually working now? How did that happen?
We sent like a really funny email out, or like, I mean, looking back, kind of funny. It was like something like, I think it said like, a few of you had mentioned you had problems with your whatever. We've done some software upgrades, and you should try it again. Like everything seems to be working. Like, but it's very like, like maybe someone had it. Like not all of you, but like,
we
like
heard
maybe
a
we
rumor.
heard from one person there was a problem. If you saw that also, you know,
handled it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the acquisition of Ring for more than $1 billion. How did your leadership evolve? So we talked about, you know, it's you and 4 engineers and someone screaming, and okay. How did everything change leadership-wise for you after the Amazon acquisition?
You know, Amazon's actually a pretty scrappy company. In fact, if you've seen some of the comments that Andy Jassy, who's now the CEO of Amazon, has said recently, is like he wants to be the world's largest startup. And he means that like from how we run. And so we've actually, like any company, by the way, even before Amazon, after Amazon, like we've gone through like all sorts of, you know, like cycles of people and changes and processes, and like politics comes in, politics goes out. I'd say overall, like where we are today is like we are actually a pretty lean, mean fighting machine. Like we are back to like, I'd say it feels very startup-esque. And you know, but we've gone through definitely our cycles, and we've had our like, you know, our hits and our misses along the way. But it's also like just growth is really hard. It's hard to, because you can't use the same, like you do need some process. Like even an entrepreneur like me who wants to just like, just get it done.
Yeah.
Like you kind of do need some processes, like even for like safety on your product and stuff. So you do have to do some stuff like that, but then you have to make sure if everything becomes a process that you don't slow things down. So it's a hard balance.
How do you find that sweet spot? How do you know when you're in that sweet spot?
I mean, for me, I find most things by breaking them and then fixing them.
Just like in the basement.
But trying not to like, you can't bring it too far. So you can't go, you have to be like, not super extreme, but you try something and then just adjust if it's not working.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people are afraid to adjust.
Why?
Probably admitting failure. And I'm always failing. So it's easy. Like, it's like, I'm just like a constant, like I'm a snowball going down a hill, just like collecting, hitting things. Like, so I think you just have to like, but we do. And we just keep adjusting. And I think if you keep doing that, especially, we have a mission, a North Star of making neighborhoods safer. So it's easy for us that we know what we want to be. We know what we want to do. We know what we want to continue to do. And so as long as we continue to do that, like what happens to get there you just fix along the way.
So when you're evaluating, you return to Shark Tank
Yep.
with your dignity
I did.
intact, and you evaluate.
High dignity.
Yes. You talk about having a North Star. How do you know if other entrepreneurs have that North Star? How are you evaluating others?
So I've seen that I would say my best investments are definitely in people, not in businesses.
What do you look for?
Just someone with passion, someone who wants to, who's really wants to win for what they're doing. So I'd say definitely a business with some sort of impact. And that they have the passion and the perseverance that they want to see that through. But I'd say those are probably what I found is because you can have great ideas and they're not great. The businesses don't come out great because the leader will just not kind of push for it. Cause the story of the 3,000 door bots or whatever, you have to be willing to go to that edge and see it through, or else you just give up.
Right.
And you want people that are not going to give up. And I think when you have an impactful mission and someone who's passionate about it, that usually works.
How do you showcase passion? How do you tell if someone, because I think a lot of people say I'm passionate about XYZ.
Yeah. You can try to if it's an investment, you try to ask them some questions that would show the examples of what they've done that do that. But you also, it's like anything in life, it's getting lucky. It's why investing is so hard.
Yeah.
But when you find those people, and if you look, most really crazy, great success stories out of Babson, everywhere are, when you really look and you read, it's the person. It's you read about this incredible alumni who did X and did this whole thing and saw it through, and the stories are amazing and crazy and great. And yeah.
I have two final questions for you. You took a little break in 2023?
Yep.
What did your time away? Did you come back into the fray and feel enlightened?
Yeah, so what it taught me was, I really love Ring. I love what we're doing. I love the mission of Ring. And it was hard to replace that with something else. I had worked on some really cool stuff, and it was great, and people were good, but I just didn't have that same passion for it. Really just sort of waking up every morning, just wanting to just go out there and just crush it.
And you still have that now?
I definitely do. Yeah, I do. And I think with AI, it does feel like it's opened up a whole new set of things we can do, to the point that it almost feels like it's day one again, where everything is new. I can just think of all these things to do that I couldn't have done before. And so it does feel like it's a whole new world.
Last question before I let you go. What do you hope readers learn from Ding Dong?
What I hope that they see through this is that anyone can create a success. We broke a lot of rules. We did, we hired people off of Craigslist, and it wasn't that we did something.
I love that.
Yeah. It's true, but so it wasn't that we did things right. It's we worked harder. We worked hard. And I think it's a good lesson of hard work can accomplish things. It does, everyone has the chance to do that. And I think it's just go out there and work hard. So hopefully people get out of it. Be resilient, work hard, work on something, by the way, that matters. And when you do that, it's certainly not guaranteed, but you have a pretty good chance of success, I think.
Thank you so much for as the mom of a teenager. Thank you for inventing the ring, because it makes my life easier.
Oh, well, I hope we still have a party here or there.
We'll see. Maybe. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
The conversation doesn't end here. Share your comments at podcast@babson.edu. You never know, we may use it in an upcoming episode. Plus, you can help grow the podcast. Share it with your friends and colleagues, click follow so you'll never miss an episode, and leave a 5-star rating and review, which tells the algorithms that we're doing something special here. Thanks for listening to From Problems to Possibilities, Entrepreneurial Leadership in Action, presented by Babson College. I'm Kara Baskin. See you next time.